Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to March 21st, New York State Bridge Authority monthly meeting. We have here the commissioners, Mr. Rod Dressel, Mr. Vane Lashua, Mr. Roger Higgins, Mr. Joe Lomaglia, our counsel, Carl Whitback, our executive director, Joe Ruggiero, and myself, Richard Jerrington, as acting chairman. We have a pretty hefty agenda here today. We have the Finance Committee meeting agenda.
Can do governance first, Mr. Chairman?
Governance first, okay. Governance.
Yeah, the Governance Committee, the reason for holding governance first is there have been revisions proposed by both the Authority Budget Office on the standard code of ethics used by public authorities. We have incorporated those revisions into the authority policy, which is also based on the public authorities law. Council has reviewed the proposed revisions and agrees that these would be appropriate for the Bridge Authority. So we're asking the Governance Committee to consider recommending the proposed revised code of ethics to the board for adoption. This is part of the Section 2800 Public Authorities Law requirement, so we'd like the Governance Committee to act before the Finance and Audit Committee, please.
Mm-hmm. Everyone had a copy of these revisions. Any questions?
Yes.
We'll do minutes too.
Bellucci messed me all up today.
I know. I'm good at it.
Let's have adopt the minutes of January 31st. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All right. Review of the proposed revisions to the Code of Ethics. Any questions? No.
We have to
Roger
call
moves
it.
it.
The governance committee.
We
Oh,
did.
okay. Sorry.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, make a recommendation to the full board later today, correct?
Yes.
Any other discussion, any other business? If not, a motion to adjourn. Roger? Graham?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen?
Next, we'll do finance
Finance and audit together, please?
together.
Yes.
All right.
Joint meeting.
Our joint meeting. We are going to do finance committee and audit together. We have different committee members on each one. Committee members, Vane Lashua and Roger Higgins as audit committee, and finance, Chairman Rod Dressel, myself, and Joe. Mr. Dressel, Chairman, would you like to adopt the minutes of the January 31st, 2013 meeting?
Yep, okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of the January 31st meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'll take care. I just say the audit committee and the finance committee both have the same items on agenda for today, except the audit committee has one other one, which is we will do last week. So first off, we will start out. With us today is John Rizzo from Tusky and Company, and Brian obviously will also help contribute in the review of the annual report. So with that, how do you want to start out here, Brian?
We opened the Finance Committee already as
Yes,
well, so we got
both
both
are
of them open. Okay, very good. All the minutes are adopted. So to begin with,
Hold on, Brian, before we proceed, let's do the audit committee, just adopt the minutes of December 20th, 2012 meeting. That will be on the same page. Moved by
So moved.
Roger. Any discussion? If not, everybody agree? All right, we're all on the review, Tusky and Company 2012 annual report. Finance and Audit Committee.
with us we have, as Commissioner Dressel mentioned, John Rizzo from Tusky and Company to go through the annual report and the cover letter which he addresses to the board. John?
Gentlemen, please. What you have in your package here, these are all not undated. These are all draft documents subject to the committee's approval and then recommendation to be approved by the full board. The first document is a report to the board, and this is a required communication in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government audit standards. And basically that outlines the responsibilities of both the board and the management and the accounting firm doing the independent audit. One, we've audited financial statements for the year ended 12/31/2012, and we will be issuing an unqualified clean opinion on those statements. The significant accounting policies that were noted this year was adoption of new pronouncements, GASB 63, GASB 62 and 63, and also early implementation of GASB 65. When we get to the financial statements, I'll walk through what the impact of those new pronouncements are to the financial statements. As far as significant accounting estimates within the financial statements, items such as life of assets, your other post-employment benefits, compensated absences, all those types of factors, we've reviewed those and evaluated the key assumptions and key factors by management and determining that the accounting estimates are reasonable in relationship to the financial statements taken as a whole. As far as significant disclosures within those financial statements, the most significant would be which is in note 13 to the financial statements, and that's discussion on commitments and contingencies. And when we get to the financial statements, we can see specifically what I'm talking about there. Again, as far as reporting the results of the audit, there were no difficulties encountered performing the audit. There were no material uncorrected misstatements detected as a result of our audit procedures. We had no disagreements with management. We're pleased to report there were no disagreements at all. We have certain representations that we requested to be made in our regular representation letter, which we've asked management to sign at our audit date. As far as consultation with other independent accountants, we're not aware of any other accountants being involved as far as shopping for a second opinion on financial statements. One other area is that there's information that's contained in audit statements. We basically have supplemental information. We basically have limited procedures that we've done comparing and reconciling that supplemental information to the underlying records and to verify that they're consistent with the overall financial statements. So that's the required communication that we have between auditee and auditor. And now we walk through to the financial statements. Effectively, we have a couple different pieces of reports that we have. We have your financial statements, which is basically the document that is management discussion analysis, financial statements and supplemental information. We have a separate report, which is independent accountants report on compliance with general revenue bond resolution. And we also have a report which is labeled the single audit report. So to start with the first document, the management discussion analysis, financial statements and supplemental information, revised audit standards, clarification standards. The first matter that we have is our independent auditors report. The form and content is different based on clarification standards. And basically what this walks through, and as you can see, the subheadings in here is now it's the report of the financial statements, management's responsibilities within those financial statements, the auditor's responsibilities, and then the key element, the opinion. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to here are presented fairly in all material respects, the financial position of the authority as of December 31st, 2012 and 2011, and the changes in its financial position and its cash flows for the years then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. That's the good news, the clean opinion. As far as additional information here, as I said earlier, other matters discussed in note 1 of the financial statements is the adoption of these new accounting standards, codification of rules under GASB 62, the GASB Statement 63, which is financial reporting of deferred outflows and deferred inflows, and GASB 65, which is items that were previously identified as assets and liabilities during, so these were all adopted in calendar year 2012. The rest of the document basically talks about other parts of the report, being the management discussion analysis, that we review the content of that and compare it to the overall financial statements, and we do not express an opinion on the discussion analysis, but that they're consistent with the books and records that we did audit. We also have other related reports. Our report on internal control over financial reporting, which is at the tail end of our report, and also a report on compliance with audit done in compliance with government audit standards, we include our compliance with investment guidelines. So with that, we can walk through the financial statements, or we can, if there's any specific questions on the numbers, or we can walk through some of the key disclosures in the financial statements. Again, at the board's discretion as to how the level of detail that you want me to go through here.
Are there any concerns specifically?
Anyone have any questions?
No, I don't, I highlighted the same, I'm always interested in looking at the conclusions, and there's opinion, and when it says the authority is in compliance, why, that's what we need to hear.
Just as a quick highlight, for the year ended 2012, we had $53.8 million in revenue, a substantial increase over prior year of 37.2 as a result of the toll increase, bringing total with other income related to the federal grants, which was slightly down year over year. It brought total revenue to $55.6 million. Overall, obviously, our capital program costs have increased year over year because of the beginning of the projects associated with the redecking and the acceleration of the paint project at Newburgh Beacon. Our capital project costs increased from 15.3 to 20.7 million for the year. Overall, our balance sheet, or what is now the statement of net positions, changed primarily as a result of the bond proceeds and the 2012 series bonds of $90,325,000 that were taken out in April of last year. A substantial portion of those proceeds still remains on the books. As you can see, the investments increasing from 18.6 to 121.6 million year over year. In addition, obviously, the related liability of those bonds also resides in the liability section of the statements of net position. Other than that, I think if you just went through some of the more significant accounting,
one other item to note, which relates to bonds, and as a result of implementing GASB 63 and 65, is what was previously capitalized as bond issuance costs. One of the requirements now is you no longer capitalize that and amortize it over the life of the bond. Requirement now is to expense it in the year that it's incurred. So effectively, you have a restatement for a prior issuance costs for bonds that were issued prior to 2011. That you have as a restatement of 2011 numbers, and the bond issued in 2012, 100% of the expense of bond issuance costs is a period expense for 2012. So that's, but they're non-operating expenses, so it doesn't impact your operating results. Again, and that's one of the key disclosures in the footnotes. If you go to the presentation in our basic presentation footnote, I believe 2 may cover that on page 11 for detail, walking through that. The other disclosures that we have with the financial statements is consistent with prior years. There's no major changes in other than the updating of dollars. It goes the same. The one related disclosure difference is in long-term debt. You now show the net of a premium. And so the premiums normally were shown as a separate line item on your statement of net position. They are now part of they're netted against the debt. So again, you can see how those numbers are added on page 20 of the footnote 8. The rest of the disclosures are, again, clear and concise and consistent with prior year presentation.
Does that change in the law, as far as the expense being taken, will that be 1.3 million ongoing? Or?
No.
That solely relates to the bond issuance costs of the 2012 series. What the requirement under GASB is now, previously you would go and defer that and amortize it over a number of years. Now you would expense it in the year that you issue the bonds. Okay, so it will not apply to any year going forward.
Yeah.
Okay. And with that.
Okay, so at the end of our report here, we have a report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of financial statements performed in accordance with government audit standards. Basically, the report here calls out what a deficiency in internal control would be, and basically our opinion is that there were no matters that we determined as considered a material weakness or a significant deficiency. Again, positive results, and the results of our test disclose no instance of noncompliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government audit standards.
So with that, the two items for this particular item on both the Audit and Finance Committee agendas were the annual report, which has just gone through, and additionally, the item indicating that we were in compliance with our bond resolution, okay? In which, as well, we were in compliance, and they found no
Right,
material issues.
right.
Go that.
With that, we will have a vote at our regular meeting, or later today at our regular meeting. We'll just move forward with the next thing, which is the single audit
I
report.
think I will assume we accept, both committees accept this report, and we move on to the single audit report. Okay.
So both
All right, so we
committees-
vote, okay, shall we take the two committees voting at the same time
Committee
then?
of a whole.
Do the whole, okay. So this is a vote of the audit and the finance committee to accept and to submit the annual report to the board later in the meeting. All in favor, say, or there's a motion. Who's making the motion? Who's second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're ready, both committees are ready to submit it to the board.
Very good. Okay, the next item up is the single audit report. As required for federal grants under OMB Circular A 133, an audit is required to ensure compliance with the guidelines required for the federal government to give us, to have given us the money that we had utilized for some of the security improvements that we had done on the facilities. This is largely routine in that, again, there were no findings associated with this. And this, unless we get another grant, I believe we have one more year of doing this, and then that will be it. So this is more or less specifically associated with receiving federal funds. Okay? Are there any questions?
You said what, we did it last year too?
Yes, we did it last year, but I bundled it. This year I'm breaking it out.
Okay, any other comments on the single audit report from either committee? If not, entertain a motion to submit it to the board.
So moved.
Second.
From the audit and finance
Okay.
committee. From the audit and
Audit
finance.
and
committee.
finance, from two, yes. Okay, who made the motion? Joe did, okay, second?
Roger.
Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll go on to the next, is the review of the public authorities law, section 2800 report.
Accumulating data taken from both the TOSCI annual report as well as other internal reports. We produced the section 2800 annual report under public authorities law, which is subsequently filed in the Paris system as well. This report includes a report on operations and accomplishments, a report on receipts, disbursements, revenues, expenses, as capital outlays, assets, liabilities, a schedule of bonds and notes, compensation schedule, projects undertaken by the authority during the year, and movements associated with fixed assets. In addition to that, it also asks for comments regarding the mission statement, which is included, as well as the lobbyist policy. Okay, the lobbyist policy was updated to reflect Project Sunlight, which you'll hear about later on, but largely the two of those policies together cover our lobbyist policy. The only thing to note on here, I was informed of a typo that I had on the compensation schedule in which I listed 2 deputy executive directors going through here. Other than that, it's been modified, and I will fix that before I finally report it. Other than that, there are no issues, and the report remains unchanged. And it largely utilizes the data from the TOSCI and Company report.
I think you said, there's this report gets sent to the governor's office.
Yes.
To the budget office.
Controller into the
Controller
legislature.
and to the legislature, yes.
Right. So it ought to be fairly accurate then.
I would hope so.
Okay. Are we ready to, both committees ready to submit this to the board later in their agenda? I saw here a motion from the audit, okay. Second?
Second.
And I'm assuming that's from the 2 committees? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so
Okay, the next item up.
that's it. So,
Well,
yeah,
we got
go
one
ahead,
more.
yeah.
We still have, unfortunately, I still have a couple more. I apologize.
Yeah,
Okay, the next item up is the 2012 Annual Investment Report. As we discussed before, the additional report that we received from TOSCI indicating compliance with our bond resolution, in addition to a investment guidelines policy and an investment income record are all required under this particular report, again, to Albany and the heads of the legislature. We file this annually.
And I guess let's hear a motion from both committees to submit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We'll submit it to the board.
Okay.
Both committees.
Okay, one last item. This really relates solely to the audit committee.
Right.
We have, under Public Authorities Law, actually the Internal Control Act, a requirement to annually assess our internal controls. What we had done a couple of years ago was to contract this function out to Tronconi Segarra and Associates. They had provided, and I had provided to the audit committee previously, a audit program to be executed over the course of their 3-year contract, and the audit report associated with 2012 from the internal auditor is attached. This report also would be put on our website and go out to Paris and Albany as well. This only applies to the audit committee. We had 2 findings, substantially improved from last year. Both findings, we will come back to the board, to the committee by June to address the fact that we've actually implemented the findings or the recommendations. No material issues were identified.
Any discussion?
Vane or Roger want to continue?
Vote, second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any other business? Nope. Let's
Motion for adjournment?
Of both committees,
Both committees?
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
We need another.
Take care, Joe.
All right. Because Francis.
We'll open up the meeting of March 21st. First order of business would be minutes of our February 21st meeting. Everybody have a copy? Moved?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, Mr. Russo.
Afternoon.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. First item I have under administration on your agenda is the annual membership renewal of the authority's membership in the IBTTA for 2013. If you had read the information I put in your packet there, it gave you a little description of what the IBTTA has been doing over the last year and its vision for 2013. Our dues for 2013 is $21,670. It's a bit of an increase over prior year of $3,700, and that was due primarily because of our toll structure change and its increased revenue pushed the authority into the next membership bracket, because it is based on toll revenue for each agency, each member agency. And with that, you have a resolution to approve that invoice for $21,670.
I would move to approve it. Also, I would say that this is I've attended, I think, 2 different, it's been quite a few years since it did, but I would encourage and I would support if any commissioner wanted to go to some of these particular meetings. They have different segments which Bill could allude to, especially sometimes the engineering meetings are quite interesting. So if a commissioner wanted to go, I think we would support for a commissioner to go and to help understand what's going on around the rest of the country. So,
Mr. Jessup moved it, Mr. Flash was second.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, 2012 annual prompt payment report.
Yep. The next 3 items on the agenda all relate to what Brian was talking about in committee meeting. It's all part of our annual reporting into the Paris system under Section 2880 and the Public Authorities Accountability Act, also of 2005. The first item being the annual prompt payment report. We're required to report through the parish system into several offices in Albany our track record for the year in making timely payments in accordance with our guidelines. And this year we did actually have 6 late invoices that were paid. And you can see on the report that 3 of them were attributed, we were able to track back to the U.S. Postal Service. It was just a delay in the mail. And then 3 of them were internal processing delays. It totaled $196 and change. Good news is it was more than offset by discounts we enjoyed for paying things early. But in any case, this is part of our required reporting, and so we've included it here.
Any discussion?
So moved.
Actually, let's take the annual prompt payment report, the annual disposal report, and annual procurement report, both together. If the board will allow that.
Yeah, there are several.
You have some other concerns with the other 2 reports?
I'll just touch base quickly on them. The disposal report, we had no disposals that rose to the level of the category of reporting, which is fair market value greater than or equal to $5,000. So it's a null report. And you're also required to designate a contracting officer, which has typically been my title. So that's included in that resolution. And then on the procurement report, Jennifer did hand out a replacement report, because I did have a typo in my, when we loaded it into the parish system and it did some cross-footing to check the math. On page 3A, they're highlighted there. That's a cross-foot column, and so there was an error in those couple of amounts there. They should match the columns to the left of them. Other than that, the report remained unchanged.
Any questions? If not, on all 3 of them, moved by Roger, second by Wayne. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then the last item under administration is a quote to replace some of our payroll time clocks. We use a Kronos manufactured time clock. We've been using them since 1999. The ones that we're replacing are the original ones that have been there since 1999, and we're beginning to see some error fails on some of the clock swipes, and the physical barcode reader. They're starting to fail. We replaced 4 of the dozen that we have over the last couple of years, and we'd like to now, complete the other 8 so that they're all running on the same platform, the same machine. And the quote to do that is $22,136.80, which includes a year of support service outside of the warranty.
Are these tied right into the payroll?
Yeah, they go right into our payroll system. Yep.
Who's moving it?
So I moved by the time clock.
Second.
Okay.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Next, engineering and maintenance, Bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. Not to be outdone by Bob, I got a nice long agenda as well. First up, we'd like to buy some new heavy-duty trucks this year. We've been delaying replacing our large trucks because of our financial constraints, and we're looking at some trucks that were 13 years old, trying to limp them through this winter. So the OGS contract is not available for trucks this year, but the Oneida County Highway Department went out for an advertised solicitation and received bids in accordance with New York State procurement guidelines, so we'd like to piggyback on their contract. There's actually the first 2 items on my agenda. The first one is just the truck. The body itself comes in the second. Memo along with the snowplow and sanders and the complete fit-up for the 3 trucks. So trucks themselves are $303,078, and the fit up the 3 trucks with 2 new plows. We're going to reuse one of our existing plows. That's $188,029.
Bill, will these trucks last 20 years?
Well, it was kind of entertaining when we met with the Sage Commission last year and we talked about what it costs to operate a fleet of snowplow trucks, because no one could believe our numbers were so low, but we tend to keep a younger fleet than most, and when you buy the extended warranty, you don't really need a shop. You don't really need mechanics. We don't have parts on the shelf. We have maintenance shop. We don't have a repair shop. There's a significant difference in the investment of tools and what have you. So it's worked well for us on our scale. It might not be scalable to the DOT level, but certainly keeping a fleet of trucks less than 12 years old is a lot cheaper than keeping trucks that are less than 20 years old. We did have a couple of clutch replacements on the older trucks this year and some transmission problems. So avoiding our replacement rotation for 3 years is starting to show some negative costs. So we'd like to get back into our tried and true strategy and replace 3 of the trucks.
So you think the truck will last 20 years? That was the question.
Well, we have a truck right now, 1993. It still works, but it runs through a gallon of oil and a shift.
Shift?
I would hope the new trucks are just as good as the trucks we bought 20 years ago, but 20 years is a long time to get out of a truck. Probably 12 to 15 would be more realistic.
Bill, you mentioned you're only buying 2 plows,
Yeah.
and the report here says 3.
Well, there's three trucks, 3 complete truck fit-ups, but oh, okay, you're right. We're only buying 1 new plow. We're reusing 2 of the old plows, sorry. The 3 trucks get the sander body and what have you, but just 1 new reversible butterfly plow.
So should we be changing anything on there?
No, I just said it wrong.
All right.
All right.
The price is wrong too, right?
No, prices are good.
That'll be 2/3 of what it is.
All right, let's take both of them together, if the board will allow.
I just would point out, I see, it's always nice to do business locally, but, obviously I wish my neighbors there in Gardner had gotten a bid, but obviously the folks in Watertown got the lower price, so they got, I'm getting the bid, so.
Yeah, it was very close. That's the way it works.
So moved on both.
Move the the plows on the truck.
Thank you.
Joe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, system-wide hazardous spill response service contract.
Yeah, we have a 3-year contract that expires the end of this month to pick up hazardous materials that might spill through an accident or what have you. So we went out to bid for those. On the second page, you could see the results we got from the 4 contractors were very close. So based on the fact that we have the 5 facilities spread up and down the river, we thought we'd like to issue all 4 a purchase order and then just leave them on call as we need them. They're Rock Tavern, Wappingers Falls, Latham, and Newburgh, so that's a pretty good distribution of geography to respond from, different sides of the river and what have you. So there's no charge to actually be our on-call contractor. They just bill as we issue purchase orders.
Go on.
Will there be any more calls because of the new construction to South Span?
I would hope not. We intend to maintain this comparable level of service and safety, but our contractors aren't really working with hazardous materials down there, so that shouldn't really change anything.
Someone move it, please.
So moved.
Second. Discussion, roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Next, system-wide cameras and sign support.
Yeah, we've enjoyed the services of TransDign over the last 6 months to do maintenance on this large system of cameras we have now. And we went through the last 6 months and we're happy with the work TransDign performed. They the proposal that we got last year afforded us the option to renew for 2 additional one-year periods, so we'd like to ask you to accept that option at $144,145 per year.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next.
Next is the
TTI.
TTI straddle modification. This will afford us the opportunity to correct misclassified vehicles that don't match their Easy Pass tag. For instance, if you come through with a trailer, we would be able to charge you for the trailer instead of just the car. TTI is our software development consultant. They've been with us for a few years now. So we'd like to award this work to them.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
2013
Thanks.
capital improvement plan for 6-month review.
Right, we accepted the current 2013 through 17 plan in September of last year. Now that we've been through 6 months with some major events in the last few months, we thought it was time to take another look. Our underwater inspection reports as well as our biennial inspection reports came in last year, so we had some additional information to go by. So we are recommending to reduce the scope of some of our substructure repairs, delay some of our lead abatement work on the Mid-Hudson superstructure steel, and complete some energy improvements in-house with our own forces, as well as reduce the scope of some of the studies we had for automatic toll collection. As our guys are pretty smart now, we can do some of that work in-house as well. So despite the fact that we had a blip on the Newburgh deck replacement award and the budget amount, this current plan is about 1.5% less than what you saw last September.
The money that we're saving here, we're going to utilize for the decking of the bridge.
Yeah, we'll use it, I'm sure, but
The savings also, the deck you can now totally pay for within the plan, and you still have it. The plan is smaller.
Someone move it, please.
So moved.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, jobs in progress, monthly report.
yeah, the final item, there's a lot of activity down at Newburgh, not a lot of progress, of course. They're just mobilizing. We're doing security checking with the new specifications we have now for secure work sites. The walkway contractor is back to work this month, but of course, you don't see any progress in the previous month's report. And we're wrapping up the second port security grant construction work. Right on budget with that, and we should be done by the end of the month. We should get our full $1.2 million reimbursement on that project, so that went well.
So moved.
So,
Second.
Second.
So when is the actual construction of the decking of the bridge would start?
Well, they'll start doing their under-deck protection probably early in April, but we won't see any deck panels come out till after the 4th of July. You know, the real show and tell will start after.
Then you move
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Next, financial, Brian.
First up, the monthly investment report. There were 5 investments in the month of February. All four of the 5 routine. The insurance fund was related to the board's confirmation of the requirement in the insurance fund. The next page, the investments held reflect those investments as of right now. Between the maintenance and construction fund, there's $102 million held with the trustee. Interest income and yield, December to January, dropped slightly as a result of the $9+ million annual bond payment actually being paid and no longer being held as an investment.
1.3.
Well, it's $9 million. $9 million we pay in December. It actually goes up to 11 this year.
Oh, so that's not actually, so
so moved. Second.
Ron
Move
moves
we
it.
accept the.
Roger seconds it. Any discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Okay, the next item coming out of the committees is the revised Code of Ethics. As discussed, additional template was provided. With this template, we're required to go and obviously have the board adopt it, as well as name myself as the ethics officer formally. And this is required because I needed to provide this as part of the Section 2800 annual report.
Come up. Discussion? No? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Annual report? Brian?
As discussed previously.
All right, well, okay, let's do the annual report, section 2800, the annual investment report and the single audit report all together, the board. So moved. So moved, second. Any other discussion? If not, on all three resolutions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Next, human resources, nothing. Information service, technology, nothing. Operations, Mr. Ruggiero.
Mr. Ferguson.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to see if you're awake.
I just have two items. The first one is our annual assessment from Transcom, the traffic collecting, reporting, and sharing agency. This year at their annual board meeting, Transcom decided to ask all the agencies only for their day-to-day operating expenses to start with. They took away their technical additions. Some agencies wanted a little more time to look over that part of their budget. So they're asking us right now for $47,818 for their 2013 operating expenses. That's an increase of about 2% over last year. And our contributions are just less than 2% of Transcom's overall budget.
So moved. Second. Any discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor, say aye. Aye. New York State Authority Easy Pass expenses, fourth quarter 2012.
Bill from the Thruway for fourth quarter 2012. Mike and I both looked it over. We found nothing out of the ordinary. Our transaction costs are just over 18 cents per.
Second. Discussion? Roll call. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Report to the board.
I have a copy of my monthly activity report with no expenses to report, as well as the traffic and revenue analysis report and the Easy Pass sales analysis report. Traffic for the 6th month in a row is in decline, and hopefully it'll turn around soon. Right now it's not impacting operations in terms of revenue and stuff, but if this is a continuing downward trend that's to continue for the next year or two, it could have larger financial impacts on the authority in terms of fulfilling its obligations under the capital plan and other costs. So we're monitoring that closely. And if you got a chance to look at the Easy Pass sales report, since we've been selling Easy Pass on the go in the lanes, sales are phenomenally outpacing the previous years in just months. We have sold 907 tags in 1 month in February, as compared to roughly, we did that all last year. So it's continued to do good, and on top of that, we are beginning to see a market shift in our Easy Pass usage, and that's beginning to climb. Well over a year ago, was before the toll increase, was around 59%, and now we're around 65-66% Easy Pass market share of the system. Bear Mountain is actually at 70%. And those are percentages that we've seen downstate in the MTA and others, so we're beginning to move things towards the Easy Pass direction. We moved the numbers in the right direction.
Does that have an impact on our income? I mean, naturally, the transaction costs we're charging more for non-Easy Pass users.
Right, but a lot of folks are still signing up with the commuter plan, and as we reported last month, we've seen that last year 1.8 million more in those type of commuter plans than we projected, so we're still doing well. We're not cutting our nose off the spider face.
But it's not part of the revenue chain. I mean,
no, we're still doing well.
It's a handy report to look at. It's worthwhile.
Yeah, no, the staff have been putting it together, and they're coming up with matrix, and it's good to see that as we implement more of these initiatives. And how
Because that Easy Pass sale just shows the value of customer service.
Well, it's convenient. They're there, they're in the lane, and, all the years that we used to make folks walk in here to buy them or go to the store, it didn't have the full impact as the convenience of them being right there and buying it on the spot.
We're selling them in Key Foods in Beacon now, too.
We have a long reach.
Any other questions? If not, just a motion to accept these reports.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Earlier, we had presentations to the board. The board made a presentation to employees of the Bridge Authority for their outstanding service to the authority. They had many, actually we had 7 employees that we gave presentations to. I'll let the executive director read the employees' names.
Sure, no problem. Just put it into the record that the board recognized today Mike Savosky, Chris Gimble, Frank Mazzella, Roy Hogan, Jeremy Pratty, and Alex Taylor for their work on the team effort in putting Project Night Watch together for the Kingston Rhinecliff Bridge. And the board also gave out a special transformation MVP award to Peter Blawowski for all the work that he did in developing 5 different databases that help transform our processes and streamline our processes here at the Bridge Authority. And they recognized these folks earlier today for their hard effort on behalf of the authority.
And on behalf of all us commissioners, we'd like to thank all those employees for their hard effort. So, congratulations to all.
Job well
New
done.
business, Project Sunlight Database.
Mr. Russo?
Mr. Roberts.
Under the Public Integrity Reform Act of 2011, there was a provision that this Project Sunlight be created. And what it is, it's an online database reporting system that has a public-facing view that allows the public to go in. It's a searchable database by contact, by agency. It's got various parameters that the public can view it. And it enables the public to have a window into the agencies and authorities as to who is contacting them and their decision makers on procurement efforts, policy making, rate making. There's 4 or 5 different areas that are explained in the policy document that was included in your packet. So the authority has designated senior staff level managers and directors as covered employees under the definition, and as well this board of commissioners are considered covered individuals. And so accordingly, we're now required to report any contact by an individual that's either representing themselves or that's representing a group. Could be a not-for-profit group, could be a company, could be it could be any type of group for the purpose of influencing a decision in one of these areas. And the requirement is that within 5 business days, we have to report that information into the online database. The authority is, Mr. Ruggiero has designated me as the liaison to this Project Sunlight group, and so I'm physically doing the reporting into the online database, but we're asking all of the covered individuals to report to me via a form which I attached to the back of this packet that captures the information, in essence, that the database is requiring. Included in the packet, I put our compliance plan that we developed to react to the policy guideline, as well as an FAQ document that Project Sunlight put out that basically answers most of the questions that one would have as to, is this a reportable contact? Is it not? Who must report? And it basically addresses all of the types of appearances and what is covered. So I bring this to your attention because you're included in this this group.
This is a state guideline?
This is. It's,
For the whole state? And
Everybody.
We could go on and see the
Everybody.
lobbyists, all the assembly people?
Yes.
All of that?
Any questions?
The individual legislators are
Exempted, right.
Oh,
There
other
are,
than that.
their staffs are not. Possible you could find
So,
contact.
if you go through the material and you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or give me a call and
And if you
we'll
ever
clarify.
contact, just let us know and we'll help you fill out the form and get it
Right.
in.
You mean contact regarding making a final decision or a complaint? Is that?
No,
complaint is not a-
say we have a procurement out there and a vendor calls you and wanting to know more about the procurement. You need to disclose, because when we do an RFP, we dedicate a staff person to answer those questions. If you are actually one of the decision makers on the procurement or you have potential influence over the process, you need to disclose X, Y, and Z company called me today about, like the trucks or whatever. And you just say the conversation, and that's it. You just record that the contact happened, files the paperwork. And
What it's not is if you receive correspondence, if you receive a letter or an email, this is an interactive contact. If somebody contacts you by phone, in person, or via, a web chat or web conference, a video type conference.
Like a lobbyist.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where this appearance happens. I mean, it could be casually if you're at the gym or whatever, a restaurant. Any type of contact, any location is reportable.
And what's the penalties if we don't do this?
we, there's
You got a docker pay or what?
Well, if you're a staff member, there are penalties.
You get a sunburn.
Any other discussion? If not, old business? Nope. Nothing else. Next meeting is April 18th. Motion to adjourn. Roger?
So moved.
Joe, second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you.